In the 8th century BC, the Greek civilization was made up of many city-states. On the island we call Euboea, the sounds of a war that would last for years could be heard. Chalcis and Eretria were two small cities that made their living by sea trade and built ports, and there were friendship and commercial relations between them. In 710 BC, these two small cities began to compete with each other for influence over ports and sea trade routes. This competition was actually carried out for years verbally and diplomatically, but the parties could not come to an agreement. Other Greek city-states were also divided as supporters of either Chalcis or Eretria. George Cockwell, in his book The Greek Wars, The Failure of Persia, evaluates that the division of the Greek world in this way prevented the Greek world from uniting for defense during the Persian invasions. With both sides having found allies, the dispute began to turn into a war. Conflicts had also started in Euboea. Both sides held great anger towards each other. The parties were aware that the issue could not be resolved through diplomacy. The tension that had lasted for years had exhausted both peoples, and war was the only solution. However, the war would last for 60 years. Throughout this period, minor clashes and deaths occurred between both the civilian population and military lookouts all around the island. Other city-states refrained from engaging in armed conflict with one another. The area called the Lelantine Plain was the most fertile area on the island, and both cities covered it. This was where the armies of the two cities were stationed. Whoever controlled the plain would win the war. Both armies consisted of lightly armored soldiers, but we are not sure about their exact numbers. We estimate that each side had an army of around 3,000 soldiers. And we are not sure about the exact date of the war. This was a period when Greek historiography had not fully developed yet. The sources we have do not specify a year. These two powers faced off on the Lelantine Plain to conclude the conflict. Both had help from their allies, but they were too worn out. The use of slingshot and bow was mutually forbidden. They attacked each other with their sword and spear troops. It was a pure battle. All that mattered in this battle was physical strength and combat skill. While the pitched battle was taking place, the Eretrian army managed to smash the Chalcis army right in the middle. The war turned in favor of the Eretrians. Meanwhile, Chalcis showed a strong defense in his army, thus closing his weakness. In this war, both armies suffered great losses. They were of similar strength. When the numbers of his armies decreased, he was afraid of not being able to ensure the safety of the lands and trade routes they currently rule, and the two armies retreated and took a defensive position. Both sides were heavily worn out. This war was actually a defeat for both of them. They put an end to the conflicts. However, since Chalcis had more land, we could think that the victory belonged to them. The Lalentine War is a great example of the importance of diplomacy and peace in the face of the hostility that can arise from commercial competition. The story of the Lalentine War comes to an end. Exploring history is like taking a journey through the memory of the universe. You can take a look at our videos and discover the mysterious world of the past. See you in the next videos.